Hey you guys, today we're talking about the 5 levels of friendships. I don't really know what you think about when I first said friendships, but for me, it was the TV show Friends. Yeah, it's pretty fun. When we look at these different TV shows, like the first thing that I just think of is, man, what a fun and energetic environment where these friends are just so close to each other. They know each other's little habits, and then they share these fun stories, and they're just able to travel and do a bunch of fun stuff with each other. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of like what we want. And yeah, some people got like 3 divorces, but there are different things that go into our lives, but there are good and bads. So here we pretty much want to have close friends because we want to share those experiences with other people. And here's an interesting stat that I found, and this is an article that's done by YouGov. I'll link the article down below and you can check it out if you want to. But the stats basically says this, that in 2019, 30% of the millennials said that they often feel or always or often feel lonely. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty high amount. So to kind of give this into a comparison, if you watch basketball, in NBA, if you're looking at the 3-point shooters in the NBA, and they took that, well, I think it's actually the whole NBA, they took an average of the 3-point shots that are made and the 3-point percentage, and that's roughly around 35%. Meaning that if you're looking at the percentage for people feeling always or often lonely, that's around 30%. I know it's kind of off by 5%, but it's about 1 in 3. So if you think about it, next time you watch basketball, every time someone makes a shot, you can think in the back of your mind that, someone might be feeling lonely, because that's pretty much about the percentage. And when they were looking at these stats, the top 3 reasons they have, the first one was shyness. And this was, they say 53%? Yep, 53% say that they feel kind of shy. And then the next 27% said that they don't feel like they really need friends. And these are not mutually exclusive. Maybe they say one and the other one. I don't know. And then they say around 26% said that they don't really have any hobbies or things that can actually relate with the other person. So they don't really have much of a common ground or interest with the other person, so they can't really form any connections. So this is exactly why we are talking about the 5 levels of friendships, because in order to make friends, we have to actually see and understand what are the proper expectations for each level of friendships, so that if you wanted to, you can kind of understand where you're at and then some of the do's and do nots. So first I want to say that this is a rough outline. Not everyone's gonna go exactly in each one and be able to have everything so clearly laid out. Some people just go by how they feel, but I feel like in general, everyone have at least some spectrum of this. People might throw out a few sections, but it's saying that there should be a spectrum of at least a few of these levels, and you can kind of gauge so that when you're going through this process, you're like, okay, maybe I can expect this. I should do this. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and, of course, the bell. So the 5 different levels I kind of separate them into are strangers, acquaintances, friends, close friends, and then your best friends. Yeah. So the very base level is strangers. Strangers are the people that you have never met before. These are the people that you see on TV, or the people that you maybe seen before, but you have never talked to them, maybe first time you ever seen them. And these people are strangers because there was never a formal or casual introduction of any sort at any point. So that has to occur at some point. And this introduction can look very different. Sometimes it can be you and the other person making eye contact and making a little acknowledgement. But sometimes that usually doesn't happen in terms of the introduction part. But there has to be some kind of introduction. in order for you to get past the stranger phase, but otherwise, everyone is considered a stranger. The next level is acquaintances. Acquaintances are like you have been introduced, but you don't really talk so much on like a close level. These are the people that maybe you walk past in a coffee room or you worked with, but then you never really hang out, you talk to them, you see them talking to other people, but you're not really so much involved. These are your acquaintances. And here, this is actually where I feel like people spend most of their time in here. Because getting from acquaintances to friend, that's probably the biggest hurdle for a lot of people. Because here, in this space feels safe. Because once you jump from acquaintances to friends, that means you have to start kind of revealing who you are as a person. You have to start sharing things that you may not feel comfortable or ready to share, and you don't really know if this person is, I don't know, safe to be around. So like when you get into the friends point, this is when you are starting to understand this person on a deeper level, and you're no longer just people that are just walking by and don't really have that much strong of a connection. And the thing is, opening up to people might feel pretty scary, so that's why a lot of people are holding back, because it's scary to open up to someone because they might or might not accept you, as much as sometimes we do want that connection with the other person. And the truth is, it's pretty hard to get over that hurdle sometimes, because I mean, we all want to be liked, right? We all want to have a place where we feel accepted and that people value us as people. But the truth is, it's sometimes we have to get into, I wouldn't call it like conflicts, but the fact that some people are just not going to like you. Because let's take, for example, the color blue. I bet you that not every person in this world is going to like the color blue. And blue has done nothing wrong. Like right? It's just a color. But not everyone will just like blue because it's blue. So yeah, sometimes you just have to accept that not everyone is going to like it, and just do you. Now let's get into the third level, which is friends. Friends are the people that you get to now comfortably talking to. You kind of wave to them and they'll wave back, and then you smile and make a little small talk here and there. That is your friends. And friends happen, it's not really based on time, it's based on comfort. So as soon as someone feels comfortable with someone else, then they might be more inclined to be friends. This is why you see like sometimes a lot of people, they're just met and then they seem like best friends after like a few weeks, because they feel comfortable. So that's why time is not really the factor. However, when you're talking with friends are usually not yet the people that you share your deepest, darkest secrets with, that you share everything and be completely vulnerable with, because you know them, you feel comfortable with them, but not to that degree, and they're starting to move along that path. But they're still kind of people that you talk to, and they're just people that are within your circle. And the challenge at this level is that we all have different expectations of what is considered to be a friend. Because let's say if I'm talking to some person and then we're friends now. Let's call this person, I don't know, Tom. Okay, so Tom has an expectation of, let's say for friends, that we'll talk maybe when we talk. So whenever we see each other, we greet each other, and that is considered to be friends. But for me, I might be like, oh, friends, we meet up maybe at least once a month and we grab a meal and do something like that. So I might have different expectations of what friends are. But a lot of people use the word friends in a very loose term. So it's not really so much that, oh, let's say if I am friends with someone, that means that every time Tom has a party, I have to be invited. Because we're friends, but we're not. I'll get into a different aspect though, like close friends. Like we're just friends. But it doesn't mean that every time that like he has any type of event, if I'm not invited, I'm not considered a friend. I'm a person that he's close with, and we can talk about casual things, but then in terms of that closeness spectrum, I'm still within someone that is more of a small talk kind of person. And I know it's pretty hard because who wants to feel rejected or excluded from like a group? No one. That feels horrible. But when we're at the friends stage, we have to really understand that everyone comes from a different place and values for what exactly friends is. And when we're just becoming friends or we're at this level, we shouldn't be putting up so much expectations for other people. Because how you see friends is different than how they see friends. And then if you try to impose stuff on other people, then that's kind of how you push people away. And you don't really actually get to understand and build a relationship with the other person. And plus, at this level, it's only casual and small talk, so you don't want to get overly deep into different things. Now we're getting to a level of close friends. And I want to make this clear here that you can't just hop from strangers to close friends. It doesn't happen that way. You have to go through the different levels, at least quickly, or through different, you can't force it, basically, that's what I'm saying. But close friends are the people that you have now at least somewhat of a regular meeting with. It's not like we are going to have a friends meeting now. It's more like you guys at least hang out on a regular basis to some degree, because if you don't spend time together, then how do you actually build a friendship? And that part's a little tough. And a lot of people do not have this, because you can hang out with people a lot and talk about superficial things and not actually feel close to the person at all. But a close friend will be able to, one, spend more frequent time together, and two, be able to discuss a lot closer things. The key separation between friends and close friends is more vulnerability. When we're sharing stuff that are more vulnerable, then we're entrusting things with the other person to kind of bank on the fact that they're not going to mess around with your vulnerability. So in some sense, you're more willing to depend on this person and trust this person, because now this person's a closer friend, and you can trust them to take $100 or $1,000 to the bank. But be careful. I'm not endorsing just sometimes money ruins friendships, that's what I'm saying. But when we're talking about close friends, you're getting to that level where you're more comfortable with sharing things because you don't think that this person is going to judge you for the things that you share, and rather they will support you. Now the last one is best friends. These are probably the place that most people will want to get to, but this is also the hardest place to get to, because when you're starting to get to someone, get to know someone, you are starting to share things, and very rarely would you come across someone who's fully supportive of you. Because you might be scared to open up, because what if the person doesn't like you, judge you, makes fun of you, all these different things. And to get to a completely vulnerable and safe place where you actually feel like this person will actually accept you and be able to share all your things with, and then you guys can mutually just be supportive and then push each other to growth, that's pretty hard. But this is usually the place that people do want to go to. Practically speaking, this is just me, personally, but I feel like if you're talking about the word best, that usually means one, because you can't have two best friends. Grammatically that doesn't make sense, but for but for this sake, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But I feel like you can have max maybe around 2, maybe 3 best friends, because one, it's just hard to constantly update everyone on everything. Unless you have a group text and then you constantly text everything to all your friends. In that case, who is your best friend? Best friends, the people that you would call in an emergency, that you know will come through to you. These are the people that you will share everything with no reservations. So in my opinion, that can only really come down to maybe very max 3, but 2 or less usually. So that is it for the 5 levels of friendships. Understand that friendships, if you don't understand exactly the whole process, it might be a little confusing. But with this, hopefully you can place yourself in like whichever level and say like, I'm about here. How do I get to the other level? What are the main problems are to getting the different levels? And how do I actually cultivate a path where I can eventually get to some place where I can have a small group of friends or just have people that I can really trust. So hopefully this was helpful in some way, and if you like it, comment, share, subscribe, comment. Yeah, I'm getting the hang of it. Okay, I will talk to you guys next time.